Today on One Day Leader, the contestants must confront the prevalence of drug abuse amongst young people. Then they must produce a public service announcement to discourage young people from embarking down a path that will ultimately lead to drug abuse. Dumelang Sanbonani, good evening South Africa. Welcome to One Day Leader. My name is Dumelang Mototwane and we are broadcasting from the SABC's Henley Studios in Johannesburg. Well, today the contestants are dealing with the very painful subject of drug abuse in our country. A study published in the Lancet Medical Journal found that more than 60% of teenagers aged 18 years regularly drink alcohol, and 30% of these teenagers are of school-going age. Now, a South African Medical Research Council report states that 5.7 million South Africans will suffer from some form of an addiction disorder in their lifetime. And the SAPS figure states that 60% of crimes, of course, nationally, were related to substance abuse. In the Western Cape province alone, the figure was close to 80%. And the perpetrators of these crimes are either under the influence of substances or are trying to secure money for their next fix. Well, the abuse of alcohol and marijuana has led to the country becoming one of the top 10 narcotics and alcohol abusers in the whole entire world. And today our contestants will investigate why the youth get involved in drugs in the first place. Now, to get your views on our topic today, please leave your comments on our Facebook page. We are One Day Leader SA on Facebook, and you can tweet at One Day Leader and hashtag One Day Leader. And now our contestants, of course, get their 15 seconds to state their vision statements. And we'll start off with leader number one, Zarif Minty.
I envision a country where every single young person has the ability to network, self-brand and commercialize themselves. I envision a country where we push entrepreneurship and stimulate economic growth so that every single young person now moves from becoming a job seeker and a job finder to a job creator.
Thank you so much. Leader number one. All right, let's move on now to a second leader, and her name is Natasha Sising.
I envision a South Africa where endless possibilities are the new normal and daily mantra of South African citizen. My vision for South Africa entails seeing innovative enterprise development and education as core poverty reduction strategies.
Thank you so much, leader number two. All right, moving on now to our next gentleman. That's leader number three, Mzansi Fo Sho.
Mohamed Yunus did something unthinkable to economics. What he did is that he lent money to the poorest of the poor, and today he runs the biggest bank in Bangladesh because he understood that for development, the poor need buying power. Let's apply that knowledge, South Africa.
Thank you so much, leader number three. Now, our next leader, of course, to give us her vision statement is leader number four, Nandile Mlambo.
South Africa, I am passionate about nation building, and my vision is to empower young people to realize their greatest potential.
Thank you so much, leader number four. All right, moving on now to leader number five. His name is Sydney Madibo.
We are the change we are waiting for. We have been to the mountaintop and we've seen the promised land. We envision a South Africa of tomorrow, today.
Thank you so much, leader five. Well, last but definitely not least is leader number six, and her name is Ludwikazi Ndlanzi.
A South Africa that is not limited by jurisdiction, a country where, upon idea generation and strategic planning, horizons are broadened. I see socio-economic challenges in all various spheres re-evaluated and reconstructed. In a land alive with possibilities, South Africa, think innovation, see global, act local.
Thank you so much, leader number six. Well, thank you so much, leaders. Those were your vision statements. And now, let's have a look at our scoreboard for this week.
Ludwikazi is at 4,086 votes, Natasha has 3,823 votes, and Zarif moves to third place with 3,618 votes. Now, Ludwikazi gets 2 points and Natasha gets 1 point.
Well, this is a very exciting season of One Day Leader. Our contestants must expect the unexpected, and that's elimination. Now, please vote for them on our SMS line, which is 33121. And if you're still confused, well, this is how you get to vote.
To vote for your favorite leader, vote leader 1, Zarif Minty, leader 2, Natasha Sising, leader 3, Mzansi Fo Sho, leader 4, Nandile Mlambo, leader 5, Sydney Madibo, and Leader 6, Ludwikazi Ndlazi.
Now, a reminder that, of course, the judges still have an option to save one candidate at any point in this season. But if you still don't know who our judges are, let's meet our resident judges.
Tebogo Ditshego is the CEO of Ditshego Investment Group and Ditshego Media. He is also the founder of Read a Book SA. Catherine Constantinidis is the Executive Director of Miss Earth South Africa. She is also the co-founder of Generation Earth.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And for, of course, today, our guest judge for this week is Thembakazi Majozi, a social worker at SANCA Central Rand. She holds a Bachelor of Social Work degree from the University of the Witwatersrand, and she specializes mainly in drug abuse at SANCA. Now, before that, she did her internship at the Johannesburg Institute of Social Services, where her responsibilities included counseling and event coordinating. Thembakazi, welcome to One Day Leader. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dumi.
Now, I wanted to ask you, you have young people that you treat at your Center for Drug Abuse, but what's the youngest age, or how old is your youngest patient that you currently are treating for substance abuse?
It's going to be very shocking when I say the age. I think 2015, from the year that we're coming from, I had a 7-year-old boy, and it goes as lower as that. Now, my 2016 one is 11-year-old, and you should realize that in order for them to be admitted to rehab, they should be 12 years old. So that means I can't even send the child to rehab.
That's shocking. Yes. That's really shocking. But thank you so much for the work that you do to try and rehabilitate our youth. Thank you so much. Well, shocking answers indeed. But now our contestants were sent to one of these centers to talk to some of the young people who've been battling with drug addiction. The judges sent me to give a brief overview to the contestants on the subject. Let's have a look at what transpired.
We don't really know how to swim, all of us. I think only Nandi knows and Dami a little bit. So we're just hoping that Nandi's going to teach us, you know, a little bit here and there.
Yesterday there was an incident in Yana. Zarif can't swim. So I was trying to prove a point to Zarif. So I didn't hold my breath. I jumped into the pool. So as I snap, I didn't hold my breath. Then I had to get out. So to him it seemed as if I can't swim, but in actual fact, no.
Sydney, he's told us, you know, he can swim, he can do all the strokes, blah, 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 blah. And then he just came in as, you know, like running, like, you know, that Baywatch vibe. Running and, you know, almost jumped into the pool, but he didn't. So I was like, question mark.
Good morning, leaders. Well, today you will tackle the issue of drug abuse in the country. You will meet with representatives from SANCA who will assist you with your research on drug abuse, as well as meet with various people who are leading a drug-free life to also assist you with how they got to be addicted to drugs. Now, you'll therefore have to create a public service announcement, and you will then meet with people who are also have been affected with drug addiction, and you will have to do your PSA with them. Now, your PSA has to encourage those who have not started on their path with drug addiction to say no to drugs, and to also encourage those who are already leading a drug-addicted life to stop. Your PSA needs to be 45 seconds to 1 minute long. Understood? Well, of course, you know you need to have a leader to ensure that you have an effective running of your task. And your leader for this task is Ludwikazi. You are responsible for ensuring that this task is executed very effectively. You may begin.
Ludwikazi, unale this thing yaore. Unale empath, like how buale now unale this thing yaore, like she makes you feel at ease emotionally. And as a leader, I think you need that kind of a thing, especially in a situation to interview to add on from this kind of an ordeal.
As task leader for this particular task, into anything by izosenza is firstly be successful is unity and focusing on one goal. sisandofika apha eSANCA kulapho sizofika sithethe nabantu abaninzi who know more about drug abuse. Kodwa ngoku njengangoku sizohamba sithetha ne-social worker and just find out ithini yena perspective yakhe on drug abuse, past experiences with drug abuse, way forward with drug abuse.
I always say, if I had my way, we would have a halfway house that after these children leave this place, they will just go stay there with in a different environment, because it is actually the environment, because in areas like Westbury and Eldos, people are smoking almost every day. Even if you told yourself that I don't want to smoke, you'll end up smoking. You'll find an 11-year-old boy smoking already. When you're 11, we were playing toys and all that, yes. But you get kids that young. So it is the environment as well as peer pressure, but mostly the environment.
What's your take on prevention rather than cure in terms of the drug abuse?
I think we can do more, much more. I'm always watching TV, so you hardly see any ads. Yes. In regards to that, not many people even know about SANCA.
Go botlhokwa le gore re create view ya batsadi ba batho ba bana dirisa diritibatsi, and then in the end we get both the view of the parent le batho ba dirisang diritibatsi. Which extreme measures did your child take to sort of like feed onto this drug addiction that they have?
With her, she went to do prostitution so that she can get money to buy the drugs. She will steal. She will lie, looking for money, like that we can give her money so that she can go and feed her cravings. Because this thing is very bad. What they're doing is very, very bad.
Why? Haki sachadi buka sakar. Kitole, body tipa. Kitole din to sexually understanding. Horianong treki inyano. Twe west. Unanka bana ba di neighbors. Baba bakan. Atubi se banaban.
These are parents that come from different backgrounds. But by factor the same thing in the very same way. When one thing ba watching one thing has the same child or this, that. And it was a common theme throughout all of the families.
Now we're actually going on to speaking to a more cautious age. You know, we're speaking to more of the younger abusers of drugs and the ones that have actually come through that. So I think we have to be very cautious in how we actually speak to them. I think I'm doing it with Ludwa, so myself and Ludwa Kazi is going to be speaking to them. I think it's, you know, we have to handle it very, very well.
Before you started using drugs, what grade were you in again?
Grade 2, I think, yeah, 2.
Grade 2. What did you want to be when you were older? Did you want to be a doctor, a nurse, a policeman?
A police.
You wanted to be a policeman.
Why did you want to become a policeman? What's the reason for becoming a policeman?
And to make the planet be right. The drugs people they buy our place is to corrupt it. They like to kill each other.
Yo, I'm stunned. I'm lost for words because I didn't expect into deep kangaka, and for umntana omncinci athethe ngoba sekwabona umuntu ehlatywa na yonke lonto into engekho right nje yonke le yini ekuphatha kabuhlungu wena ngaphakathi ekwenza ukuthi ungaze uyibone mhlambe usugcina uthatha idaka bese inokuphatha kabuhlungu empilweni yakho.
Hayi into engiphatha kabuhlungu ukuthi babambe kashoni.
It was very shocking to me, Ubayena. The reason why he did drugs is because he needed to find comfort. Nokuba bethetha nechomi zakhe. Ichomi most of the time ebantwaneni have a lot of influence. That's also something else that I learned. Ukuba they have a lot of influence on the lives of the actual kids that are involved.
What influenced you to actually take drugs for the first time?
For the first time, it was peer pressure. Okay. And I didn't have self-esteem. That's the reason that made me to take drugs.
How has drug addiction affected umndeni wakho?
Umndeni wami yabona like zange baphathe kahle le ndaba yabo. At the same time yabona bekade bengikhuza yabo. Kuzo zonke lento bengizenza.
Kaofela bona. Ho ya ka tlhaloso ba fanang ka yona gore ba lahletswe ke dilemo tse ngata maphelong a bona. Dilemo tse leng gore ke bentse ntho tse makatsang. O mona bua gore nka ba kene sekolo ba bua gore ba lahletswe ke dilemo ba dutse tronkong jalo. o ka nana gore motho a ntsha re o batlo tloela dithethefatsi kapa motho a o nana a o bona ntsha a kenelela go tsone o ka nana ke go bobebe gore ba ka tloela.
What a painful exercise indeed for parents, the addicted individuals, as well as our contestants who had to come up with a PSA to ensure that young people do not become drug addicts. Now, after the break, we have a look at their strategy. You don't want to miss it. Hello again, Mzansi, and welcome back to One Day Leader. Please send the number of your favorite leader to 33121 to make sure that they remain in the competition. Now, you can also send your general comments, so of course your comments about today's episode, to our Facebook page, which is One Day Leader SA, or to our Twitter account, which is @OneDayLeader and #OneDayLeader. Now, today we're discussing the issue of drug abuse in our country, particularly amongst young people. Our contestants are busy preparing their PSA, which is meant to discourage their peers from doing drugs. Let's see how that went down.
Namhlanje siyashuta our PSA. We've got the crew, abantu bethu abazo-acta bakhona, makeup artists, the works.
And I think it's time for the world to know the problem that I went through, and I have a daughter, so I have to be there for her, so I want to be her mother.
Ungabe unomuntu ofana nami oye wathi uphakama yabona waza nesitory sakhe sinje emphakathini nasenkuthi no guys likhona uncedo, and it's very hard ukuvela ukuthi uvela uyeke nje, you understand.
I was once locked down by the darkness of my
Look at me.
The real source with the guy is Diva Shapo. It's a bit difficult having to grasp the line. It's a
Kucha Maria no ne. Ntona struggle ka yona gore not necessarily the lens at them. Marona struggle ka who display emotion ya high into the lines at they want on. And twenty game lawyer na gore what's working. You're not an actor. It's your story. And I think she's ready to dispense the same amount of emotion that she would when she's telling an actual story. So yeah.
Okay guys, this is where we'll be working. I just want to run through the concept with you and with Dagalo listening. The concept is bondage. So we'll be representing that through each and every frame. So with you, Johannes, we'll be going first, and then we're showing one of our representatives supporting the whole point. There's a rope that we'll be using as well to show that you are in bondage with being the drugs. The rope represents the drugs. It represents the fact that you are not free.
It's very ibalulekile kakhulu ngoba izinto ezifana njengedakamizwa zidala ukuthi abantu yabona nje balahlekelwe impilo yabo, balahlekelwe imndeni, balahlekelwe okuningi.
We had our concept and we introduced it to Dagalo, who was our DOP, and that way we were able to bring it together and solidify it. Person, and initially he was supposed to walk in.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now?
Yeah, he's still walking into frame.
He's walking into frame.
Yeah.
Then we move slightly to the next frame when we're done with the first one.
Yeah, so
instead of banging the door, walking through the door, he will walk into.
Which was meet Amro for the first time, never what they want to achieve. It was shocking to like one or ribako but that much nga storytelling, storyboard, and
it was quite a new experience for me, so it was a bit challenging, and you never really give the guys props who actually are behind the scene. Until today I got to be behind the scene, so sometimes we criticize them and say, oh, such a bad movie, but you never give credit to the people, so it was quite exciting. And from now on, I know that it's quite a challenge, so yeah, but it was okay.
Action.
I never thought I'd live a life free from drugs. I was enslaved and held captive by a substance, which I could not free myself from. But it was not always like this.
I was once locked down by the darkness of my drug addiction. It led me into a point of being dangerous, not only to myself, but dangerous to my only child.
Shikhaya lami, hlukumeza impilo yami. Ngenemnyama ndako. Ngenedanyane. I was arrested by drugs.
Choose not to be a slave.
Well, welcome back to One Day Leader. My name is Tumelo Mototwane. Today we're discussing drug abuse, and we've also just witnessed before the break the work that our contestants put into their PSA. Now, these leaders never cease to amaze me. Well done, guys. Wow, 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 wow. Well done on their PSA. Wow. So impressed. So impressed. But I'm hoping that the judges are just as impressed. Tambagazi, what do you think about that PSA?
It was lovely. I was really impressed, hey? Unfortunately, there's going to be one winner, but I would love you all guys just to win. Yeah.
And Catherine, what do you have to ask, of course, our contestants?
I think that this has been a fantastic challenge, and challenge upon challenge, you guys really step up to the plate and you just move it up a notch. So in that sense, well done. When you did the PSA, were any of you coming into this with feelings because you have in the past been directly or indirectly affected by someone in your circle who has used drugs? Okay, because I think the heart and where this comes from and the execution of this PSA talks to those very stories that you brought in to this challenge. Well done.
Thank you so much, leaders. Thank you, Catherine. Deboho?
Yeah, I've got a question for Natasha. You've asked a very important question to one of the parents and asked what was the cause of your child's drug addiction? And some of them said, one of them said prostitution, the other one said his dad passed away, and the other one said peer pressure. Now, Tando overcame drug addiction. I wanted to ask you, did you ask him how he did it?
No, we did not actually. I don't think we asked Tando how he overcame drug addiction, but we understand that there were treatments that he went through with SANCA, and now he's using his story to empower other people, and now he has a job, you know, drug-free. So I believe that even the services the social work services that SANCA offer have played a pivotal role in his recovery.
All right, thank you so much, judges. Thank you so much, leaders. Well, now we come to our debates. The question that we're asking this week is, how do we avoid drug dependency amongst young people who are experimenting with drugs? But before we begin, here are the rules of our debates.
Every leader has a set of instructions and disciplines to live by. These are the rules for the One Day Leader debates. You have 30 seconds to state your vision statement, 60 seconds for the opponent to challenge, and 30 seconds to conclude your debate.
Now, there you have it. The very first debate for this week is between Leader 4, Nandi Limlambo, and Leader 6, Ludwig Ansi. We'll start this one with Leader 4. Your 30 seconds begin now.
According to the Center for Behavioral Health Statistics and Quality on Drug Use and Health 2014 National Survey, 8% of teenagers aged between 14 and 15 are likely to consume drugs, 11.2 between the ages of 16 to 17, and 10.4 between the ages of 18 to 20. Young South Africans, I urge you to take preventative measures.
Thank you so much, Leader 4. Leader 6, now's your time to debate. You may begin now.
Okay, you're stating all the stats about the percentage of teenagers who are taking drugs, but how do you propose that they do not go that route?
Leader, I suggest they attend research-based prevention programs. There are programs out there to boost protective factors that eliminate or reduce risk factors for drug abuse.
How does a 12-year-old find a center for that purpose? How do you propose that they source those funds, those resources? How do they find out about that information? How does the 12-year-old get up and decide, I'm going to a center? How do you propose that happens?
Well, you know what?
How practical is that?
To answer that, I encourage all young people, doesn't matter how old you are, to refer to the top 3 levels of Maslow's hierarchy. Self-actualization. You know, look at yourself and push. Yes, they can.
To Maslow's
because
hierarchy.
At home, I was taught confidence. I was taught to push myself to my greatest potential.
What about a child who does not have a home where they're pushed to be confident?
I encourage
Thank you so much, Leader Fo. You may now conclude.
I encourage young people, self-actualization, push yourself to your greatest potential. Esteem, respect yourself, respect others, and be proud of who you are. Love and belonging. Surround yourself with people who really care about you, who are supportive, even if it's guardians or family members, someone who you can run to, who you know cares about you. And don't be scared to speak up. Don't be scared to run away from problems, even if it's accessible around you. Seek help and get out of the trap.
Thank you so much, leaders. Right, Ludwig, this is your moment now to give us your vision statement. Your 30 seconds begin now.
A study done by the CDA reveals that the average age for drug dependency in South Africa is 12 years old. This means that we need to reinvent our drug prevention campaigns, giving much consideration to relevance, demographics and trends, just like a campaign that was done in the USA, the National Youth Anti-Drug Campaign. Creating appealing campaigns which stress consequences as opposed to reason.
Do these campaigns target, sorry Leader,
Nandile, your time has not started now.
Two strategies.
Now you may debate.
And mass media.
Sorry Leader, do these campaigns, for example, include things such as selective programs where they target groups of children who are already, for example, in using drug abuse and get them out of it? What do they do to
focus on a basic communication where even a 9-year-old can relate, where even a 12-year-old can relate? It's accessibility, information.
Leader, there are also universal programs that address risk and how it ruins your life. These are also relevant to 9-year-olds and young children. They can communicate in a way that these children can understand.
That is true.
And
this is why these campaigns have to point out consequences as opposed to reason. This is why these campaigns have to be edutainment orientated.
Absolutely. These campaigns will say to children, don't be afraid to say no. Connect with your friends and avoid negative peer pressure, because one of the things that I found, having done this interview, it's low self-esteem and peer pressure.
It's been happening. So we need to reinvent the current. We need to reinvent the current campaigns that we have in place. By relevance
and Leader, to reinvent those current campaigns.
Thank you so much, Leader 6. You may now conclude. Alone this time, please.
South Africa is on a quest to cause a paradigm shift in young minds, to plant a seed of discipline and to empower young minds to say that no to temptation, no to peer pressure, and no to curiosity, to say no to being a victim of circumstance, and to realize the disorder that comes with drug addiction, then every single South African citizen, the Department of Education, the Department of Health, and all media houses need to come together and preach one language, the universal language, that prevention prevails.
Thank you so much, leaders. Round of applause for that debate. Judges, this is your moment now to analyze that debate and begin your votes. Remember that you at home as well can be a judge from where you are. Vote for leader number 4 or leader 6 to the number 33121. Of course, according to which leader impressed you the most or which leader spoke to the heart of the topic for today. All right, judges, let's find out who you have voted for. The winner for this debate is leader number 6. Ludwig, you win this debate. Judges, it seems like Ludwig is doing something right. Why did you choose leader number 6 this time?
I think from my perspective, I just have 3 simple words, and those are clarity, strength, and control. Well done. Great debates.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Thembekazi?
Well done. I actually learned something from you. She didn't even say only one party should focus on substance abuse, rather a collective umbrella, education, Department of Education. Everyone must come in if we want to win this fight. Well done.
Thank you so much, judges. Congratulations one more time. Ludokazi, now thank you to, of course, our judges. And don't forget to keep voting for your favorite leader. Send the number of your leader with your favorite candidate's number to our voting line, which is 33121. Now, after the break, we continue with 2 more debates. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back to a rather compelling episode on drug abuse amongst the youth right here on One Day Leader. And if you've just joined us, well, you've missed the very first debate, of course, under our topic. But don't despair, because you're just in time for our next debate, which will be between leader number 3, Tami Poe, and leader number 5, Sydney Madibo. Now, Tami, you'll begin this debate, and your 30 seconds begins now.
The problem with drug prevention in this current form is the fact that societal stakeholders are not equipped to quell the problem. I'm talking parents, teachers, and community leaders. What I'm introducing is what we call targeted prevention planning, a policy that was applied in Portugal. And today in Portugal, 3 out of 1 million people die of drug-related fatalities. How does it work? You go into families, right? And you train parents on how to monitor supervision in the household. And secondly, you do drug education for the parents themselves in order to disperse the conversation in the household.
Don't you believe that we should apply the model that is used by Singapore by ensuring that parents that are aware that their children are taking drugs but are not reporting that to the authorities need to be charged just as much as them?
Thank you very much. So what we need actually is not the Singapore model, right? Because it double criminalizes drug use and it makes it actually more stigmatized, and that's a big problem in the country, right? But what you actually need is a more preventative cause, a more preventative measure where a parent can actually ascertain the child as they're growing up. This child will be an overdose.
In terms of looking at people that are convicted of drug abuse problems and they're in prisons, don't you believe that the ongoing scourge within the prison cells themselves, when people are being forced to be recorrected because of drug usage, don't you think that having the drug system in between kills the whole point of wanting to prevent people using drugs?
Remember, in South Africa, right, drug use is used between 12 and 18 years old, right? So the bigger population of drug users are the adolescents, and I think the concentration, as far as policy is concerned, should be at the level of adolescents between 12 and 18. 12 and 18-year-old kids are not in. So the conclusion is 10% of South Africa has a drug problem, right? And drug use is prevalent among kids who are 12 and 18 years old. The solution is to equip the people that nurture these adolescents, whether it being their parents, their teachers, and their community leaders, to ensure that the foundation is safe, especially for poor communities.
Thank you so much, leaders. All right, Leader 5, Sydney, your 30 seconds to give us your vision statement begins now.
The best preventative method by ensuring that young people do not even want to begin to experiment with drugs is by ensuring that, number 1, we have a very strong legal system that deals with drug trafficking. Now, you look at countries such as China, Indonesia, Iran, Singapore, and United Arab Emirates. They have some of the strictest measures in the world to ensure that people are not using drugs. Now, what we then need to do, upon making sure that we have strong legislation, we need to absorb young people into programs that keep them occupied in our communities, that keep them in recreational facilities, that make sure that they're not idling within our society.
So criminalization does not work in this regard, right? Because the countries that you just mentioned don't have the bigger problems that we have in society, like gang violence, like teenage peer pressure abuse, right?
So you criminalizing it, making it worse. Look at the Cape Flats, where it's a typical example of where we have live gang violence. So how do you explain the fact that we cannot begin to strengthen our legal systems? When we begin to strengthen our legal systems, Tami, that's where...
The point that I'm telling you, right, because drugs are already criminalized in South Africa, but we still have a prevailing drug problem. In fact, it's rising on a daily basis. Criminalization doesn't work because it doesn't deter anybody.
Because drugs are too visible, drugs are too available, and there's not enough legal power to combat drug trafficking in South Africa.
So there's the legal function and the legal in theory, right? In function, the legal system doesn't work in South Africa properly. All you're doing is that you're applying more theory to the legal system, and it doesn't.
Now, what we continue to do in terms of that, Mzansi, is that we take these. We strengthen the legal system, number 1. Number 2, back to what you said.
What you need to strengthen is enforcement, not the
conclude within our communities. Now, what we also need to do in conclusion is that once we've strengthened our legal systems and once we've absorbed young people into these programs that keep them active, we also start on what Paulo Freire calls the dialogical process, where parents, schools and communities are actively involved in ensuring that local authorities are able to combat drug usage, drug trafficking and substance abuse within our communities. In conclusion as well, we also need to look at the possibility of enacting that bill that sees to it that we limit the advertisement of alcohol on television.
Thank you so much, leaders. Round of applause for that debate. Wow. Wow. Teboho, I know what you're thinking. I saw all of y'all making notes. Don't act like judges. You were making notes like that is so true. I need to learn that. I need to know that. I saw all of you. Compelling debates. All right, judges, I'm going to give you a few moments now to make your decision and to vote for which leader takes that debate between Leader 3 and Leader 5. And as you make your votes, I'd like to remind you as well and ask you, who impressed you? Who's your favorite leader? Make sure they make it through. Vote Leader 3 or Leader 5 to the number 33121 and you can secure a spot for your favorite leader. All right, judges, you have voted and the winner for this debate is Leader 5, Sydney. You win this debate. Congratulations. Congratulations. Judges, he must have said something right. Teboho?
I think that was a brilliant debate. You guys did your research. Your delivery was on point. For me, Tammy, you took that one. That's my personal opinion. And because I feel like Sydney is speaking about using the law. And you mentioned the fact that drugs are already criminalized. And for me, that is where the debate got tipped. But unfortunately, yeah.
So you were rooting for Leader 3. You were rooting for Tammy.
I think he just tipped it at that point. But, I mean, brilliant debate by both of you.
All right. Tembakazi, your view?
Well, I voted for Sydney. Well, my initially approach is to strengthen the legal system. I think if we work on that, just only criminalizing and say each and every drug is illegal, it doesn't mean it's not accessible at the communities. But what you just said, take it all for me. Like, you are on point. And I think if we work towards that, we are going somewhere in South Africa.
Thank you so much, judges. Congratulations, Leader 5. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on now to our final debate, which is between Leader 1, Zarif Minty, and Leader 2, Natasha Sising. As you know, ladies first. Leader 2, your 30 seconds begin now.
In many instances, it is within communities that young people are first exposed to drugs. Hence, the solution towards avoiding a drug dependency amongst them should be innovative social service drug programs that include the community members, SAPS, recovered drug addicts, and medical social work professions, drawing inspiration also from countries like Singapore, which has the lowest prevalence on drug abuse worldwide.
Thank you, Leader 2. Leader 1, you may debate.
I love the fact that you're speaking about rehabilitation and social service programs. It's brilliant. However, it's the second source to solving a problem. It's the second solution. The main solution to solving a problem like drug abuse is obviously cutting down the availability of drugs in South Africa. And the only way that's going to be done is obviously by affecting legislation, by changing legislation,
Leader,
making sure...
wait on that. So what is the question that you are asking me regarding my vision so that I can answer?
My question is, why are you spending time speaking about the second most important source or solution of drug abuse when the main primary solution...
The introduction of this innovative social service things look at medical professional social workers which work with legislation. I'm talking about involving everyone. Let us not just focus on legislation. Yes,
no,
in this vision, legislation is also covered, but we're also looking at broadening it to community members so that we include everyone within the community.
Thank you, leaders. Leader 2, you may now conclude.
These innovative social service drug programs are community-based, meaning that we work in collaboration with community members and social work professions, and this will increase the program's effectiveness, having youth sport and recreational activities, and also having drug addicts come in to conduct testimonial programs under the supervision of medical social workers, and this is also creating jobs in nipping
Thank you so much, Leader 2. Leader 1, your 30 seconds to give us your vision statement begins now.
Perfect. Drug abuse is destroying our youth. According to the World Health Organization, about 15% of the South African population currently have drug problems, which is double the world's norm. Now, with crimes committed in relation to these drug abusers actually meeting their habits, it comes to the excessive amount of 20 billion every single financial year. I strongly feel that we need to then suffocate the availability of drugs in South Africa. And this can only be done by obviously putting more stronger laws in place and making sure that we put bigger fines on drug abuse users and on drug
Leader
dealers
2,
in
you may
particular.
debate.
Which different procedure would you use in suffocating availability of drugs? Because we understand
Let me do that. Let me finish the question.
There are also legislations that are already put in place to try and suffocate these availabilities.
The legislation in place.
Criminals continue
the legislation
drugs.
the legislation at the moment says that if someone has excess of 50,000 rand of drug abuse, that only allows someone to go to jail for 15 years. If you have anything less than that, you're only going to get a fine. I'm still busy. I'm giving you my solution. Therefore, the second time you actually get caught, you get a 20-year sentence, and the third time you get a 25-year sentence. Now, what I'm saying is,
how is it relevant to communities?
We need to remove.
How do you avoid it within young people?
We need to remove the 50,000 limit. We say if anyone is caught with drugs, if it's a drug dealer who's caught with drugs and he's selling drugs, we give him the highest sentence. We give him the highest sentence of 25 years in South Africa, and we do what the Dubai system did, where they had the lowest
Leader 1, you may
crime
conclude.
Okay, perfect. What I want to conclude on is just say that, firstly, when you experiment with drugs, you get a positive effect. So what happens is you start enjoying it, but it starts fading away. So you use harder and heavier drugs. Now, my issue is what's happening at schools now with teachers. And with your drug dealers. So what they're trying to do is they're actually trying to get it into schools, where they actually put it into tattoos and lip balms and even lollipops to get young people onto drug abuse, which is something that we need to get rid of. And this can only be done by obviously removing the availability of drugs. Thank you so much. Leaders, a round of applause
for that debate. Thank you so much, leaders. Judges, the ever difficult task. You now have to vote. Who took it between Leader 1 and Leader 2? You may start voting. And as you do so, please at home, make sure that you save your favorite leader. Is it Leader 1? Is it Leader 2? Make sure that you text their leader number to the number 33121. And an interesting part of the show is that later on, we get to actually find out also our audience members' favorite leader, the overall leader that impressed our audience members. All right. Now, getting back to our judges, of course, who have to let us know who the winning leader is. The winner for this debate is Leader 1. Zarif, you take this debate. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, judges, talk to me.
This isn't fair, guys. This really is not fair. These leaders have really stepped up this time. Every single one of these debates has been frustrating because it's so difficult to choose. Yeah. I think, Zarif, you took this because you did a lot of homework, you did a lot of research, and you were able to bring that to the table. However, Natasha was able to bring up really important points, but you took that, I think, on behalf of both of us, that was definitely yours.
You disagree?
I absolutely disagree. Zahir, congratulations. But Natasha, I feel like you took that one. Because Zahir is speaking about suffocating the availability of drugs using the law. And you asked about juvenile delinquency. So are you going to take a 7-year-old and throw them in prisons? For me, that's not the solution. So for me, I think you came up with the stronger debate and the stronger argument. But Zahir, congratulations.
Zarif?
Zarif.
You lost because he doesn't know your name, honey. Zarif, you lost because he forgot your name. Thank you so much, judges. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations one more time, Zarif, for winning that particular debate. What we look forward to when we return from the ad break is who our audience members think actually is the overall impressive leader. Stay right there. Welcome back to One Day Leader. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's now time to find out more from the audience. Which leader impressed them the most? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you do know you have to vote between Leader 1, Leader 5 and Leader 6. And you may begin now. Now, as they vote, I need to also keep pumping you. You also have the power right where you are at home to vote for your favorite leader. And I think the nice thing about being at home is you can vote as many times as you like for your favorite leader. So make sure that you SMS your favorite leader's number to the number 33121 and ensure that you secure their spot in the competition. All right, seems like we are done and dusted. Let's find out which leader impressed our audience members. And the winner that impressed our audience members is... Who is it? 1, 5, 6, 1, 1, 5. Leader 6, Ludokazi. Congratulations, Ludokazi. Do you have anything you would like to say? They keep voting for you. You have something. Are you paying these audience members?
No, not. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, audience members, for voting. Thank you so much. And with that said, let's take a look at our final scoreboard for today.
In the final scoreboard, Zarif has 8 points. Natasha is at 7 points. Tami is still at 3 points. Nandila remains at 0 points. Sydney remains at 7 points. And Ludokazi leads the pack at 14 points.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to today's winner. Now, I'd like to thank all our contestants, of course, our judges, our audience members, and especially to you at home for being a part of this show.
Now, next week, we will be discussing a very sensitive topic, and that's racism in South Africa.
And I'd like to leave you with the wise words of Henry David Thoreau when he said, enthusiasm is a supernatural serenity. So from myself, Dumelo Mototwane, and the One Day Leader team, it's a good night.